Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about July and Kickstarter and what it means for you, what's coming up, what you can still back, what you can't, and it's kind of tailored towards stuff that either interests me or I have an opinion on, so I won't be listing every game under the sun. That would be an hour-long video. Everybody is creating games all the time, but I will focus on all the cool ones. How about that? As always, before we get into things, I want to thank my patrons and YouTube members. Without their support, this channel would not be what it is today. It is thanks to them that I'm able to stay as independent as I am, produce the videos and the quantity and quality that I do, and so thank you to them. As an additional shout out to all of you guys down below that are either liking the video, sharing it, commenting, pausing that ad blocker, following all those merch links, or anything like that. Thank you, and if nothing else, you viewing right now, I appreciate you being here, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, let's get to it. So starting things out, I already mentioned this one in the last video for Kickstarter, but now we have a date. It's July 7th, so this will be coming in July 7th for Ascension Tactics, a miniature deck building game. I like all of those words put together, so that kind of has me a little excited. I don't know much about the quality of the miniatures and how they'll be. They seem fairly decent, like the texture on his beard. I don't know how well that'll translate, but for the most part, they seem well designed and thoughtful of kind of how they'll be in the final miniature, perhaps. So, like all these really long teeth, that's a little iffy. Same with the very fine detail in her, like, tiara flowers kind of stuff. You know, who knows? The detail on her leggings here, the little whatever those are, a little shallow detail there. So I'm not expecting like an exquisite miniatures game per se, but perhaps a fun one. How about that? Also, I saw it's from Ultra Pro. As a Magic player for years, I definitely know them as a company. Didn't know they did board games now. It's kind of interesting. Okay, this is Perseverance Castaway Chronicles. This is kind of a nice picture of the game itself that I'm showing off now. I believe this is also July 7th. And it comes with a little tiny dinosaur minis. Dinosaurs seem to be a thing right now. I'm not sure exactly why. I'm not complaining. I like dinosaurs. Maybe these tiny ones with this many repeats are kind of annoying, and I don't know if I can make this bigger a little bit. And the little tiny detail on the end there, I don't know how that'll translate to a final production plastic, but you know, it is what it is. It looks very Euro to me. It looks very busy. There's a lot going on, a lot of dice placement. I would hate to bump that table. If you bump that table, you're gonna lose like an hour's worth of game. It's just gonna go scatter everywhere. It's kind of, I think, the issue I have. Look at the pile of people here. Yeah, I don't know about this one. It has a pink board, pink and purple, which is kind of unique, I suppose. And it does have dinosaurs, so I'll at least take a look at it. That's all you need to get me to look at it. Next up, we have Dead Reckoning. Now, I'll probably be covering this a little bit more later on. AEG actually contacted me, so I need to actually get back with them and kind of see what information I can get for you guys. It looks like... So I've covered quite a few pirate games at this point now, in case you haven't noticed. Pirates are all the rage as well. Pirates and dinosaurs. Let's fuse that together, shall we? I'm waiting. We still got plenty of time in the year. Let's do pirates and dinosaurs. This actually looks pretty good. Like, it looks unique. It looks kind of interesting. I like several different parts of it. So it comes with like this dice tower kind of a ship that you roll, the like cubes to, and where they land kind of matter, which is an interesting way to simulate, I think, cannon shots. I think that's actually kind of smart. I kind of like that thematically. It has the really nice sleeves with the cards. This channel, you would know it from Hate, though it's not exactly a new mechanic, but it is one I like, because all your cards is then sleeved, and it just looks really slick, and you're able to kind of change one card into many different things, so that's really cool. It's got some exploration stuff. It looks like there's a lot to enjoy here, so theme matters still, and how it captures the theme, and then of course just fun factor, but it has the basic layout to where I'm kind of interested. Also, you'll see little tiny miniature pirate ships, so there's still miniatures for all of us miniature lovers out there. Oh, I forgot to mention, I believe this is July 8th. Next up, we have some Kickstarters that are live right now that you can back. Notice there wasn't a whole lot there. I don't know of a whole lot in July. Massive Darkness 2 from Come On might come out in July. Typically, they'll start teasing on their Facebook profile or, you know, their kind of Facebook page about 2 weeks before it launches. So once you see that, I typically add about 2 weeks, and then that's when I start really guessing, like, somewhere around that time period. That tends to be their tendency. So I haven't seen any yet, but once they do, we know we're probably about 2 weeks out. So, and they'll do a countdown. For what you can still back, there's still plenty, and some of the stuff I haven't mentioned yet. So this is Mechanical's Lobo, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's literally just this miniature. It's by Officer Brush. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I've spoken with Officer Brush before. He helped a lot with the Limbo project, and he's wanting to make some robotic wolves. I like wolves, so that's cool. Not really my style, especially when it comes to like sci-fi. It's a little too sleek, perhaps for me, for what I'm looking for, but it looks decent for anybody who likes that kind of thing. And it looks like there might be some more, like some elephants and gorillas. We're going full Beast Wars on this, it looks like. I'm okay with that. Tell me when you have Waspinator, and I'll be interested. Next up, we have Omnis. Okay, so this is, I can't stand when I can't pronounce these names. Like, name your product something that's super easy, in my opinion, or your company that's super easy. I wouldn't even know how to pronounce this. Omnis Power Packs, rechargeable LED kits for minis. Not a board game, not even miniatures, but something that actually kind of interests me. Now, the price points, it's fancy, right? So you can actually just charge your miniature by placing them on the charging pad. I like that. That's sweet. And then they have these round parts and with multiple connectors, 3 to, I believe, 6. And then you just kind of, wire it in with these wires and it just snaps right in. Jerry would get everything. I'd probably say it's like a Lego or something like that. But either way, you just snap it in and actually makes it look like it's actually easy, which is not always the case. Normally when people do LEDs, it's custom wiring and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of nice. I dig it. I like what they're doing, and I think that maybe some of you might as well. I know I would love to do it. I just don't know if it's worth me trying it out for the price that they're asking for. But I think for what you get, it's probably pretty good. Okay, now for stuff that I've already covered, because again, I cover this stuff all the time. Terraforming Mars, I said it right that time, you're welcome. The big box is doing fantastic. As you can see, almost 15,000 backers. We have almost 1.8 million raised for a big box and some 3D tiles. That's impressive. That's really good. Like I said, I think it looks very well laid out and thought out. It looks fancy. Everything you kind of would expect from a premium product like this. A lot of storage. And I will say I am all about our storage. So often you get companies that are focused on their shipping, not on your storage. So having that be the case here is good. Additionally, if I recall correctly, I'm going to go here and check real quick, but I believe the shipping was actually pretty good too. So a lot of times when you get these big boxes, like you'll see behind me, right there, there's Deep Madness. There's one of them. There's another one right there. So the Deep Madness boxes are big, and they were pretty expensive to ship because they were big. And Dimension Games, even with that shipping, didn't make a lot of money off of it. It was a kind of a money sink and time sink, if nothing else. Just because the logistics of sending a big box is actually kind of difficult, especially when they get damaged and sending replacements. And I don't know how that's going to end up being, but big box, USA, $19. Shoot. I mean, if that's accurate, that's not bad at all. All right, Elia or Ela or whatever it is, and something shiny. This was kind of the cutesy, adorable-looking little game that I covered last time, talking about. I think my daughters would really like it, and I showed them, and they were all about it. They insisted, "Oh, it's like Stuffed Fables," which was a hit here in the home, and this looks quite cute too. Again, it's kind of an adventure game, so you have a deck here, and then you make decisions, and you put it to the right or left, and then that builds the deck for the coming up, so you can have recurring events or events that only happen at once and then lead to something else. It looks decent enough. Overlord, a boss monster adventure, is actually doing quite good, which I'm a little surprised with because it looked a little simple to me. but the art style and the nostalgia looks fantastic. And I think that's really the selling point here. It looks really, really nice. Like it's just pleasant looking. I love it all. The purple and yellow, even the bag is awesome. The art style is just phenomenal. The gameplay, again, looks a little light to me. It's essentially a drafting game, and that's really the drafting. And then just placing your tile to make like the best overworld map. And so you have little icons on the lower left and lower right. You have a little symbol in the middle that you can like do like, I think 3 in a row kind of thing or stuff like that. There's a few elements at play there and would be kind of decent casual fun, I think, especially with the theme. Next up, we have Dinosaur 1944 by Sandy Peterson. Before last time I covered this, I said that it might not... I kind of worried a little bit about the gameplays because he pumps out so many. A lot of you reached out to reassure me that he actually does quite a good job on these, in which case, that's awesome. I'm all for it. So it's just a matter of them getting them out the door. I think hyperspace was delayed, so we just need to make sure that we have a steady output with his 31 created. But I think one of those he made like a rock, so he does some crazy stuff. Only 16 hours ago at the time of filming. Now this is going to launch tomorrow for you guys, which means link in the description below. If you want Dinosaur 1944, you think it might be something that interests you, you definitely want to like click that at the end of this video and like follow suit with that, or open a new tab or something like that. The design of the miniatures I think looks great. Like this guy right here is awesome. The pterodactyls, they're actually pretty darn good. I love the raptor here, winged version. I like that. Looks pretty darn good. People, they're people. I'm fine with it. But the dinosaurs look pretty good. Yeah. I'm liking pretty much all of this. Are those like tanks? Yes, tanks versus dinosaurs confirmed. Shoot, I may need to stop looking at this. This might be something I get into here. I mean, at the end of the day, right? All of us remember playing with dinosaurs. And what the heck is that? Okay, he went a little crazy here. Oh, an elder thing. Of course, why not? Okay, alright. Yeah, I'll take a look at that later. Monumental African Empires is doing quite well as well, up to 350,000 and almost 3,000 backers. Now, the original Monumental did a bit over 5,000 backers, and it's always kind of interesting to see the follow-up on how many people are returning versus how many people are new versus just general interest entirely. I know they had a bit of a weird setup before where you had to get the new stuff. You couldn't really just get the core game with the old one. I believe that's changed now, and that may have affected some things. They still have 9 days to go, though, so I'll keep an eye on it and let you guys know. I know the miniatures turned out really well. I don't know too much about the gameplay. I've heard some people say good, some people say bad. Well, not bad, but could be better. So I guess we'll follow up on that. Now, this is another new one, Carnival Zombie 2nd Edition. You can late pledge. I have not been covering this, so a link in the description below for the late pledge there. I know nothing about the game. I haven't even really looked into it too much. What they did do, though, in update number 77 here, is show some of the 3D renders. So these are still renders. These are not miniatures. Do not think that they are. But looking at the design, I really like some of the things here. So I like how he overlaps on the base here, and then how his tentacles go in and then out again, and then again it goes off of the base. It's a unique pose entirely with him kind of leaning and with his shoulders slouched. I really like this miniature. That is very well done. With this one, it's kind of interesting because his face looks really busy here, but then he has his innards out here. It's all gross. And he has really muscular arm that then goes into bones, that then goes into tentacles, which is quite the transition. And you can kind of see this whole half of him's a little messed up, which is kind of cool. I'm okay with that one. Some of these have some very fine detail that I don't think might transfer. So the little squiggly parts here in his pants or whatever the heck this is for him, that level of fine detail inside, it can be done, but you got to know that the company's very miniature focused to actually pay for the quality that they would need to get that kind of input there. Same with some of these textures here. It's debatable on whether or not these inlays here will actually show up, and especially because they're so small. Texture here, that's totally doable. I'm fine with pretty much everything on this miniature. There was one I wanted to point out that, again, some of these are just so well designed. I freaking love the type of dress this is, where they like artificially poofed him out like that. She's got these nasty freaking hands that are gross, and I don't even know what's going on with her mask. It looks kind of weird there. The big teeth here freak me out. I'm not gonna lie. But again, the kind of lopsided feet, the fact that he's taking up the whole base, I like all of this kind of stuff that I'm seeing. So there was one, I'll point it out here soon. There's a lot here. Okay, so like this one, for instance. This is where you have to think render versus physical miniature. So in here, he has this wheel around him, which is a cool idea. However, you'll notice there's a lot of negative space here. So between like his back and the spokes and the wheel there, if you can think of a mold for a miniature as an ice cube tray. And when you fill it with water, it gets the shape of the outside of it, right? But you can't have ice and then air and then ice on top from a tray. It doesn't work that way, right? It would go inside. Well, the same thing with this plastic here. So this would have to be, if they are going to do this, a fully separate piece that they then go over his head and glue onto him. Now, they could do that, they could not, I don't know. But it's stuff like that you really want to look into and just make sure that if you see negative space, that they're doing a lot of multi-parts and they'll do it right. Otherwise, this has to be filled in. And I've seen it done before where they'll fill in the whole thing and it looks a little silly. I'm not saying they're going to do it here, just saying. Same here, this inlay on her dress here, very fine detail. On the gun here, very fine detail. Unless these are premium miniatures, that's not going to show up very well. Though if it is, it's going to look awesome. Her head seems a little big to me. But that could be on purpose. A lot of these are really weird. Anyway, there's some cool stuff here. Like, look at this guy. So, link down below on this. I know I didn't cover it before, and now I'm just focusing on the miniatures, but honestly, that's typically what drives us all into here, especially when it comes to a theme like this. It looks actually very interesting. Okay, so now for the news update, and I am sorry to say that there's not a lot of positivity in this one. It's not super negative. None of this is going to be freaking out, but it's not exactly a happy joy news segment. So just laying that out there now. Okay, so here's Time of Legends Joan of Arc 1.5. Again, as always, we are greeted with this content has been removed by Kickstarter due to an intellectual property dispute, and it has not gone away, which means they have not been cleared yet. There have been others where once it gets cleared, Kickstarter lets them be back on there, but these are staying, so there's some stuff going on there. Here's Update 84, where they're showing off some What's Up Wednesday, and they have all this kind of written stuff about the compendium updates that they're doing. One of the things I guess I want to point out here is they're still talking about updates to the original game that came out years ago. So I know they say they're still working on this, but even if it's one guy working 40 hours a week full time to get Joan of Arc up and running, after so many years, if you haven't balanced it, I guess what I'm saying is the concept of we're not moving on from this game until it's done is a lie. It's obviously part-time somewhere. There's no way we're spending that much time on it, that we're still talking about this to this day. Now, one thing I will note is Mythic Games does these very long Leo lives, which I personally don't have time to listen to or watch fully. They're not time-stamped. They're not searchable like a text document here is. So what you won't notice is this. On that episode of Live with Leo, he says that the JOA is delayed due to the IP issues. Now, when they first got, the takedown, they were quick to say this will not affect the delivery at all. Well, now it has affected it. So that ended up being a lie. I'm sure they didn't intend it to be at the beginning. Nobody intends for these things to go over, but it also shows that you can't just assume they know what's going to happen in the future either. So it is delayed, and they aren't clear how long it will be delayed or an exact date of the delay because they are still in negotiations. My issue here isn't even so much the delay. I get that. Now that sucks. And it would really suck if you can't deliver it because it's blocked. But in this update, if I just got this email, unless I click this link, I don't know there's a delay. And fundamentally, I think it's very important that you communicate any sorts of delays. That shouldn't come up partway through however long this video is that I have to click on outside of Kickstarter. Not everybody wants to even be on YouTube. Not everybody wants to be on Kickstarter. There are people that if they backed on Kickstarter, your updates need to be on Kickstarter. That's the system where everybody is. That's where they're using it, and that's where it needs to be. I really don't care for these sorts of video updates. I really don't like it because I wouldn't have known. If somebody hadn't pointed this out to me, I would not know that Joan of Arc 1.5 is delayed indefinitely. That's a big thing, and it should have honestly been like the title. You shouldn't be talking about all this crap here, the comedium scenarios. I don't care about the comedium scenarios if you don't even know if you can deliver. That's a big news, much bigger than showing some updates to a multi-year-old game that you're still making. Let me know about that. That's what I care about. So anyway, that's not handled very well. The communication's poor. The update progress is very slow. Not in they're updating every Wednesday, but updating of the broken scenarios from 1.0 is very slow. And, it's hard to find out. So there you go. During somewhere in that video, he mentions that the IP dispute is still ongoing. There's still negotiations and that it will delay, because of the IP dispute. So hopefully we can get our game. I personally, when I got Wave 2, I just shelved it. I unboxed it and shelved it. I'm not playing Joan of Arc until I get some fixes. So hopefully 1.5 can make that a bit more playable. I'm looking forward to that because fundamentally it's a good game mired by a ton of issues like all of Mythic Games' printed material so far. So hopefully that fixes it. Okay, next up, this is up. Now I shared this later because I want to talk about some things, but Sherwood Bandits by LMS Light, which is Ludus Manus Studios, from Black Rose Wars, Dungeonology, all that kind of stuff. They have a new Kickstarter out with their like new light stuff, and honestly, it's like $35. It's cheap, so you get like this little tiny game for a little tiny price, which is cool, and I appreciate that, and I think that's cool. And it's a little thumb stuff or whatever. They launched it. I didn't even realize they had launched it. They launched it at like a weird time. What I will say is this is Dungeonology, and in Dungeonology they're talking about, hey, guess what? You can add some stuff, and the Pledge Manager will open again later for you to pay for Wave 2 shipping again, just like they did with Ludus Manus Studio. So you will be charged again to get Wave 2, just like they did with Black Rose Wars. They're doing that with probably anything they're shipping right now. And that's causing an issue. Now, here's why. So here's Black Rose Wars, and again, they're talking about 35% of the total paid for that $15 to get it shipped. Otherwise, you'll get it when they can afford it, whenever that happens to be. And I'm going to point out some problems there too, but they got 35%. I don't know what the percentage they were expecting. I don't know if that's high or low for them. To me, that seems fairly low. I don't know if 35%, so 3,080 people paid them $15, maybe some more. But by and large, I imagine it's just the 15 that they were asking for. So they're going to be getting that. I'm not going to do the math real quick. You guys can do that, but that's going to be the influx of money to start shipping these, maybe. I don't know. The problem is if they don't ship them, they have to pay for storage, which is also costs. So I don't know what they were expecting to do there, but whatever. So here's Sherwood Bandits, and I'm going to point out a few things here. So this was actually a guy that says, hi guys, LMS. I think I will be speaking for the majority of your backers. Debatable there. That though, based off the amount of people that are even willing to spend the 15% here, I think that the majority is the opposite of the 35%. So he might be onto something, but probably not in his element here. Anyway, he will not be supporting this because other projects are not close and are delayed to the point that many of us just could not make that anymore. In my opinion, most of us are waiting till projects are finally closed without further delaying. So in other words, hey, you need to deliver games before, actually going out with more. Then this other one, this was by a guy who canceled it. Obviously, he just backed it to say this. Like others have said, due to poor management of this company and how they have recently handled the massive delays on other projects while holding our Kickstarter goals hostage unless we pay for them more money than the agreed upon price, I will not be supporting this Kickstarter, blah, 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 blah. So there are definitely some people speaking out. There was a whole bunch of people not speaking out that just ignore it. And I will say that this launched, let's see, when did this launch? On the 23rd, and it is now the 26th, almost the 27th, and they are at 8,000 out of 11,000 goal with 208 backers. So definitely not a high traction point here. I'm sure they were hoping for more than what they have here. And then you see comments like that. And then, so this is how I found out about it. I got this email saying, hey, look, this is here. Oh, also, we're going to be doing another one. And here's, I guess, my problem. And I said this in a video, my last video, actually, on the I Need a Change video, where I'm talking about the disclaimers like the one you saw. There are far too many companies on Kickstarter that are so focused on pitching games and asking for money and not focused on making and delivering games. In other words, you get a company that is actively launching one and already advertising another one on top of that. So that means they have 2 new ones plus all their other ones, and they can't even get their current stuff out. And that's honestly a problem that's prevalent across Kickstarter. It's not just Ludus Magnus Studio. It's not just Mythic Games. A lot of them do this, where they are, as a company, they make Kickstarter campaigns. They don't make games. That's just the byproduct. They're so focused, and they're so focused that that's their main deliverable. They produce Kickstarter campaigns, ideas, and then, they'll do the game later. And maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Maybe they need 2.5 years to update a 1.0 with a 1.5 that you paid for that may not even deliver. That might be the case. Or maybe they're already advertising 2 new ones while also having an update on how they're going to have to charge you because they can't afford to ship the second wave of a current one, or another current one where only 35% of the people are even willing to pay to get theirs guaranteed. So it's just, I guess, kind of gross to be advertising 2 campaigns. If you're focused on making multiple campaigns and spinning off new companies to make even more campaigns, make games, not campaigns. The focus should be the game, and the Kickstarter is just there to kind of drive that. Just my 2 cents. All right, the last thing I wanted to point out here is Awakened Realms released the manual. They call it the game manual. It's a rule book for either fields, and so you can look at that. It looks beautiful, just like the rest of the game. It's actually quite short too. I think it's 17 pages, 18 pages. Let me scroll down here and see. So 18 pages, which isn't too bad. Now, we'll say right up front, there's no index. Make an index, alphabetized index that lists all the pages something's mentioned on. If it's the same as the table of contents, then it's easy. Do it anyway. Because then I know I've read everything, even if that's all it is. So I would like to see an index. Otherwise, I think this is actually looking quite good. And I will say, compared to the Mythic Games review, this is quite nice. First of all, there are no missing pages, which means all these pages line up, which is good. Additionally, the comments are being highlighted here, so I can click on this and see exactly what somebody said about this, which is awesome. All of that is really, really good and very helpful for me to kind of see what's been said, what's been covered already, and then also to tag directly to it. So honestly, this looks good, and I'll put a link in the description below for this so you can take a look as well. Honestly, I like the fact that it's only 18 pages. That's fantastic. Really excited about that. And it looks really pretty. So there's that too. Okay, guys. That's it. That's all I had. My voice is apparently going out. I don't know why. It's the end of the day. Perhaps it's that. I don't feel like I talk that much, but maybe I do. I hope you found this news helpful and useful. Sorry if I ranted a little bit. I tend to do that sometimes. But ideally, you're looking forward to some of these updates, some of these upcoming things. Maybe one of the new things I covered, whether it's the late pledges or whether it's the new campaigns that are coming out, excite you. If so, let me know in the comments below so that I know kind of what I should maybe focus on or what you guys are interested in. A lot of times we see eye to eye. Sometimes we're not quite in sync, and so that really helps. I do appreciate that. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful